We are not fighting for Burkina Faso alone. We are fighting for Africa. We are fighting for black people. We are fighting for the dignity of Africa. We are fighting for the well-being of our people. And who fights for the dignity and well-being of its people also carries something in their heart. We stand wholeheartedly with all peoples who fight for justice, for equality, for well-being. And we are friends to all peoples who respect us and who respect our sovereignty and our dignity. And thank you for standing with us in this struggle we are waging. It is very difficult to wage this kind of struggle, and I know that you know this even better than I do. To see Africa awakening is truly a nightmare for some. But Africa is indeed awakening, and Africa will awaken. We are not going to be complicit. In their deepest and most sincere wishes, the wish to see Africa become the reality of what they have thought and said about Africa, namely a land of slaves, a cursed land. We will not be complicit and go along with them so that what they think becomes a reality. We will tell them that Africa is a continent of hope, a continent of fighters, and Africa is a continent of the future. And we are going to fight for that. Some will say that it is impossible for Africa to catch up, to wake up. We were told this when we wanted to take our country's destiny into our own hands. That it is impossible to do what we want. Others tried to discourage us. They always brought up examples of African heroes whom they killed to tell us that these heroes tried but couldn't succeed, to make us believe that our struggle is in vain. But we said that impossible is not African. If impossible were African, our grandparents, our ancestors would have suffered greatly. There is no other people in the world who have suffered like Africans. No people can claim to have survived after all the ordeals that black people have endured. We remember whether it was colonization, slavery, or the Arab-Muslim conquest here, Africans have experienced all kinds of humiliation, all kinds of treatment aimed at exterminating us. They wanted to wipe out the black gene because it was always the young, the brave ones that they took, killed, and deported. So the African is the most resilient in the history of humanity because we have withstood every possible form of barbarity. But today, we must continue the ongoing struggle. And that's why I want to thank you again for the fight you are leading. Because the continent is still suffering. Look at what is happening in Sudan. Our black brothers are being exterminated. Look at what is happening in Congo. Look at how they are turning people against each other in the Sahel. Everywhere they manipulate black people so that we kill each other. They send weapons and we keep killing each other. This has to stop. And it is absolutely possible. And the first weapon we can use, that you can use, is communication. It's about explaining to black people where they come from, who they are, and where we can go. And it is absolutely possible, and I congratulate you, I encourage you in this fight. Wherever Africans gather, we must understand one thing. Only united can we go far. And we must find a way to unite, one way or another. And this responsibility falls more on the youth today, but also on the elders, who must be able to explain to the youth what they experienced in the past and how we should behave today in order to unite. I am counting on each and every one of you to continue this struggle wherever you are. Because today we are being fought not only by imperialism, which is trying by every means to make us disappear, but also by our own brothers, some who are servants of imperialism and others simply out of self-interest. Personally, I would say that there are many African heads of state who do not like me, There are many people out there who do not really appreciate me. Maybe it's because they're jealous. Maybe also I'm a threat to their master. Whatever the case, I don't hold it against them. And they pretend, when people meet them, they pretend to like me. But I know that there are many who do not like me. But our prayer is that God changes them deeply in their hearts. That God fills their hearts with love, not for us, but for their people. So that they love their people. And that they fight for their people. Because we will continue to preach the message so that their youth wakes up. And I pray to God that He puts love in their hearts, that they love their youth, that they love their people, and that they fight for the well-being of their people. Maybe through that, we too will benefit from a bit of love from them. And I pray to God that this may happen, and very soon that we may look in the same direction, see that we must fight for the well-being of our peoples, our youth, our continents, our countries. And through this, there is no other choice. We will unite. Because Africa is immensely rich, we have a huge market, and we have brilliant minds all over the world. And we will bring all our brilliant minds to work with us. Africa needs all its sons and daughters in order to develop. And you carry this message, you carry this fight. And we must do everything we can so that this fight succeeds, and as soon as possible. That is very important. Because you must see this fight succeed in a very short time. And it is indeed possible.
Right. Welcome back. Now listen to what Captain Ibrahim Traore says. Africa is a continent of hope, a continent of fighters, and it's a continent of the future. And there are people out here that are struggling so much to fight this continent of hope, this continent of fighters, and this continent of the future. Reason being, many people who are hopeless will run to Africa to be hopeful once again. Why? Because Africa provides, Africa makes, Africa creates, Africa gives. All the other things that cannot be found outside there, they can be able to be found in Africa. And so Africa becomes a continent of hope. Whenever people feel like they've gotten to the end, they can no longer do it, they will run to Africa because they know there is life in Africa. The waters that are sprinkling from the continent of Africa, they are waters of life. Africa was the only continent where there was no war, there was no violence, there was no hatred, there was no jealousy. All that was in Africa before the coming of the European was love, caring. It was helping one another. It was unity and all of that. Because our ancestors knew God. Our ancestors were very much religious. Our ancestors taught the people of Africa, they taught them good morals, good characters and all that. And that one made Africa one amongst the continents that were very super wonderful and very nice. In Africa, people are not controlled by money. People are not controlled by the things of the world and all that. That is why in Africa we had gold, we had diamonds, we had all kinds of minerals. But we never paid attention to these things. In fact, we didn't even know if they exist. And even if we knew they existed, we did not even wanted to know their value and all that. A white man was studying Africa, and a white man knew all that Africa has. They knew that Africa is wealthy. They knew that Africa is a land of hope, and they came to Africa to try and manipulate us and take everything that belonged to us. We might never had problem if white people might just be were just taking the minerals and the resources in Africa. But I think to a point that our ancestors began fighting, it was this point that they had started now committing genocide and atrocities and killing people and making people go through pain and all that. Because there was no harm if they would just come and take what they're taking and going. But The harm started when the white people started now oppressing the black people in their own lands. That is when the black people started retaliating. Okay? Now, we need to understand one thing. Africa is destroyed by people who want to see Africa suffering because they know the only thing and the only way for them to remain relevant is when they associate themselves with Africa. Africa is a great continent. Everybody wants to be in Africa. Everybody wants to live in Africa. Only a few people to whom their minds are still colonized, they are the ones who want to leave Africa to go to the foreign countries like the United States of America, thinking that the US is better than Africa. Go to France, go to Spain, Germany, thinking that all those Europe countries are better than African countries. A few to whom their minds are still colonized. That is why Professor P.L. Lumumba says, if we want to liberate this continent, if we want a revolution, number one, we must start by decolonizing our minds. We must start by changing how we think, how we reason, and how we do things. That is the only way we can be able to get the revolution that we need. That is the only way we can be able to be independent countries. You see? Now, Africa is the best of the best. Africa is wonderful. Because tell me why, if Africa is not good and Africa is not wonderful, why is it that all the West great empires, they want to come to Africa? They want to stay in Africa. They want to be part of Africa. This is the place they want to be. This is the place they want to live. If Africa is indeed not that beautiful, that wonderful, that good, tell me why all of them want to be in Africa. They want to be in Africa so bad that they are willing to manipulate Africans, to manipulate African leaders. Yeah? And that is why when a leader like Captain Traore rises, they feel like, no, we can't let this happen. We can't allow this to happen. They would play tricks. They would try to make his leadership hard just to prove to the people that, you cannot do without us. Now, African countries and African leaders, they've been made to believe they can't do without the Western influence. They can't do without the Western influence. That is what they've been made to believe. And they keep on want to be puppets. They keep on want to be working for the Western governments. They are told go right, they go right. Go left, they go left. They are being manipulated and being given, being told what to do every time. Why? Because they have been made to believe you can't do without us. You can't work things out without us. What does the white governments do? If a leader rises like Captain Ibrahim Traore, the first thing that comes into their minds is how to assassinate this person or to eliminate this person. Okay? To make other people believe that this person was not good. To make others believe that if you try to rise up, your end will be just like his end. That is why Captain Ibrahim Traore has been, we have had many assassination attempts to Captain Ibrahim Traore because he is a genuine leader. He is a great leader, a wonderful leader who is willing to serve the people, who is willing to work for the people. These foreign governments does not want to see a leader who is willing to work for the people. Because I've told you time and again, and I'm going to repeat, that Africa has been designed to be poor. Africa must be poor so that Africa will continue to beg. I told you, it is very much easy to manipulate a poor person or somebody who is desperate than somebody who has something. So for them to be able to manipulate Africans easily, they must, number one, start by making us poor. So that when they come with any idea or anything, we are willing to fall for it because we are now desperate. Poor people or people in need, they are very much desperate. I gave someday an example of a girl. If a man comes across a girl on the road, this girl has nowhere to go. This girl is poor. She needs shelter. She needs habitat and everything. it is easy for this man to tell this girl, let's go to my house. And this girl will give in very easily. Why? Not because this girl is reckless, but because she is in need at that time. She is desperate because she is in need at that time. And she can't let this opportunity go. So when she gets to that house, that man can use this lady anyhow he wants. And the lady is willing to give to all the kind of misuse that she's going to, because she wants something. She's desperate. She knows even if I don't do it, I will go out there and I will suffer. So she's willing to give in to anything that this man asks or this man tries to initiate. Are you getting me? And at the end of the day, this man might end up throwing this girl out. You see? And this girl, she will go out there. She might not even regret, because she'll be telling herself, at the end of the day, I didn't have anywhere to go. So I did it because I thought maybe something might come out of this. So for them to make you easy, manipulative, they must make you poor. They must turn you into a beggar. And then they provide themselves as the possible helpers. At the end of the day, they are not really helping you. A Western country will never want you to get help. They will never want you to grow. Because if you grow, you will surpass them. They already know about the already existing wealth that you have in your country, that you have in your continent. But they won't allow you to get hold of it. Instead, they will try to come up with things that will convince you to see things in a different way, that will convince you to feel like you don't have it, to feel like you're poor, to feel like you're incapable, to feel like your potential is very low. You can't really have anything. You can't do anything. That is what they will teach you. They will teach you about your misfortunes, about your disabilities. They will remind you about your failures and every other thing, just to temper with your mind and how you think about issues and all that. That is all they will do. They will threaten you. They will try to bring you down. That is all they will do. And they even try to convince you that if any leader comes out and does this, he's a bad leader. Captain Traore, when he was rising up, he was very much against democracy. And even today, he is still against democracy. Democracy that also myself, I'm very much against it. I don't like democracy because the existing democracy in Africa is a smokescreen of lies. It is not something we can talk about, something we can brag about, something we can say now, this is something good that is helping us. Democracy in Africa is not helping us. Democracy in Africa is messing up with us. It's messing up with our minds. Yeah, trying just to make us believe in some things that does not exist. And some other African leaders today, they hate Captain Ibrahim Traore. Why? Because Captain Ibrahim Traore does not support democracy, and all of that. He doesn't even into the democracy thing and all of that. And some people don't like what he say about democracy because they believe in democracy. They believe democracy is real, democracy is good, democracy is true, and all of that. They hate him. They hate him because he's going against their masters. I'm talking about the puppets that we have in Africa. We know them. Mention them. President William Ruto is a puppet. If you're not working for your people, you are a puppet. President of Nigeria is called Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Ahmed Tinubu is just a puppet because we see what is happening in Nigeria. He's not working for the people. The person leading Sudan is a puppet. You see, all these are puppets. Samia Suluhu Hassan, she's a puppet mother. The president of Cameroon, the old man in power, puppet. Alison Ouattara, the president of Ivory Coast, a puppet. Mention them. You know them. The president of Sierra Leone, a puppet. I know them. I'm going to mention them one by one, and if I mention, you're going to wonder. All of these leaders, they're just puppets. They're just waiting for a day that they will all be called and be summoned somewhere in the United States of America or in France or in China to go somewhere and be summoned. All the 54 presidents of Africa, they've been sat down by one single leader a head of state. 54 heads of state, they've been summoned somewhere in a certain conference somewhere. And then, doesn't make any sense. and you are summoned, you are given instructions on the things you need to do and what you're supposed to do on a country that belongs to your own self. You've forgotten about your people. You aren't working for your people no more. People are suffering in your country, you're not working for them. People are struggling in your country, you're not working for them. Children are going hungry. Mothers are not getting food to provide for their children. Youths are unemployed. Your work is to walk around doing campaigns that doesn't even make any sense. And yet people in your own country, they are dying. That is what the Western countries want. It is not that these governments does not have money, but we are paying taxes every day. We are paying taxes. You know, you working for the people, it is not that you're working for the people with your own money. You're working for the people with the money that these people, they have given out themselves by paying taxes. They pay taxes every day. If somebody fails to pay a tax, you would come for them with the police officers, you will come for them, you will chase them, you will hunt them down because they failed to file returns. But now, when it comes to you working for them, building infrastructure, building roads and all that, you are nowhere to be found. You will be seen the times of campaign and the times of elections to come and lie to the people again how you want now to help them. You see? And you've taken really advantage of people. And you are the people who are being used to make Africa poor and poorer and poorer for easier manipulation. For easier manipulation. Africa should stop being aided. Africa should be aiding the world. Africa should be giving aid to the world. Africa should be providing for the world. Africa should not be the continent that is being aided or being given some credits, some coins, some little things here and there. Yet they are stealing a lot of resources, a lot of wealth from Africa. They are against the unity of a black person. Why? Because they fear the unity of a black person. When black people unite, they become very strong. So they fear that. When they fear that, why do they fear that? They fear it because they know when a black person comes together, they are going to bring them down. But we shall fight. That is what Traore is telling us. We must fight. We must stand up for ourselves. If the leaders we are electing cannot stand up for ourselves, we must stand up for ourselves. We ourselves. If these people have refused to stand up on behalf of us, people who elected them, we will stand up for ourselves. There is an African awakening. There is a black awakening that is going around. And on this black awakening, we are part of it. We are there. We are holding on there. African youths, African millennials, African citizens, let us unite. Let us come together. Let us hold our hands together and walk together and decide this is the path we want to go. This is the way we want to go. And decide this is the route we want to go. Let us speak one voice. These things to do with the leaders trying to fight us. You know, I've seen many leaders being used to fight black people. You see like what is happening in Uganda right now. When a president is beginning to claim that Indian Ocean belongs to his country, when his countries are landlocked, this leader is going to initiate wars between the two countries. And at the end of the day, this war that they're going to initiate will not affect them. It will affect a common mwananchi. It will affect a common citizens. We are the people who will end up fighting. You see, even when war goes on in Africa or in these countries, these leaders, what they do, they fly away from they fly out of the country. They go just somewhere, sit down and watch from the televisions how Africans are fighting, how people in Africa, they are having chaos and all that. And then when everything is calm now, they would come and start speaking bullshit and nonsense again. That is what they do. That's what they've always done. Professor P.L.O. Lumumba has been talking about our African unity. Let's stop fighting ourselves. If leaders want to initiate wars, let them be the one who will go out there and fight. But let us preach unity. If we have to fight, if we have to initiate war as black people, as Africans, as youths, let's fight against bad leadership. Let's come together and fight against bad governance. If you listen or come across Tanzania having a bad governance and the people of Tanzania are being oppressed, let's break those borders and enter that Tanzania. If it is in Uganda, let's break those borders and enter Uganda and fight with our fellow brothers and sisters because we want to come together. These boundaries we're having in Africa were drawn. Initially there were no boundaries in Africa. These boundaries were drawn by people who wanted to share Africa in 1884. Berlin Conference, drawing them and saying, you and you will take from here to here. You and you will take from here. That is what they used to do. That is what they were doing. That's what they were doing. And therefore, these boundaries were not there. We, as black people, we are supposed to unite. If leaders want to fight, let them fight amongst themselves. If they want to initiate war where people will fight, do you know when this war starts, people will be fighting, but who will be benefiting? Leaders. It is leaders who will be benefiting, but those who will shed their blood will be people. If at all we have to shed our blood, to shed our blood, let us shed our blood on things that will benefit us, even if not us, our generations and our children's and children's children's. Let us shed blood fighting for our own selves, not fighting wars that doesn't concern us. You see? Because if we don't fight, those leaders cannot fight one another, but they will initiate fight for people to fight. And this one is being orchestrated by those people who don't want a black unity, who don't want black people to unite or black people to come together, because they know when blacks come together, they're going to conquer. Now, for the leaders existing, please, stop being puppets. Stop misusing public funds. Stop mistreating your people. Stop taking advantage of the people who voted for you, of the people who elected you, of the people who made you presidents. You are a servant. You're not a boss. People are bosses. They elected you. They're paying you using their taxes. Do good. Work for them. Protect them. Take care of them. Listen to them. Listen to their views and perspectives towards issues. Listen to what they are saying. Because you have to do what they say, not them doing what you say. Look at how parents are struggling out here. Look at how children are struggling out here. Let us not be eliminating free education in our schools and making it difficult for children to go to school, for children to get educated. Let us not make it difficult for our youths to get jobs. When they finish their schools, they can be able to go. They are going now out there to struggle and try to get jobs and all that. Let us not get to that point. Let us ask the old leaders in our governments to retire, because we have young people who want also to enroll, who want also to be in those seats and in those chairs. Let us not create wealth for ourselves, yet we have people who are suffering out here. There are mothers who are living a very low life, a very bad life. They are struggling to earn a living. They are struggling to earn ends meet. And you are there doing just your things recklessly. Be a leader for the people, not a leader for yourself. Lead the people who voted for you. Protect the people who voted for you. Take care of the people who voted for you, because you will not be a leader forever. A time is coming when you will not be in those seats. You will not be a president. You will not be a leader. And when that time finally comes, ask yourself, where will you be and what will you be doing? Create a legacy. Look from the leaders who have been able to create legacies, so that when you're finally gone, people will talk about you in a positive way. Be a Julius Nyerere of today. Be a one Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere of today. Be a Thomas Sankara of today. Be a Kwame Nkrumah of today. Kindly. Be a Nelson Mandela of today. Think about your people. Think about what your people would want. Be a Captain Ibrahim Traore. Be a one Assimi Goita. Be Abdurrahmani Chiani. Be like the president of Botswana. Be like Dr. Arikana. Be like Wangari Maathai. Be like people who loved their people who loved their nations, people who loved their countries. Be a Patrice Lumumba of today. Be a Muammar Gaddafi of today. So that when you're finally gone, people will talk about you. People will respect you. People will cry. Don't go and then people begin saying, at least he has died. He was really making life difficult for us. Be like Raila Odinga, who just died. And even at this moment, people are still thinking about him. People cried. Raila Odinga became one of the people that people have really cried and mourned him very, very, very much. Because of what he used to do. He prioritized the people than every other thing. He placed the people first than every other thing. Many a times he was to become president. His elections, his votes were stolen many a times in this country. But he decided, I will not push it so much. I'll push it little. You see? But the moment I feel like I'm now endangering the lives of people, I'll let it go because people matter. We can't ban a country because of a single event that comes once after every 5 years and it ends and we ban down a country. He was willing to let everything go. We want leaders who are willing to let things go for the people. Put the people first because people voted for you. They elected you. Because if you kill everybody, who are you going to lead? Remember, there is somebody out there who is misusing you, want you to kill your people, want you to destroy your countries because they want to come and steal, to come and invade. That is what they would always want. Now tell me, are you ready for that? Is that what you want as a good leader? Ask yourself questions. Who do you want to be? Which kind of a person do you want to be? And the moment you ask yourself that question, think about your people. Think. And ask yourself, I was elected to do this. Am I doing what I was elected to do? Let's keep the dignity of Africa. Let's protect Africa. Let's fight for Africa. Let's fight for an African country that is good, an African country that is super nice, that is pure, an African country that is wonderful. Let us fight for that. And if we're going to do that, then a time is coming when our children will live better and Africa will be a first world continent. The countries in Africa will be first world countries because we have all that it takes for us to be first world countries. Tell me what you think in the comment section, my good people. Let me wrap up from there. I will be glad to read all your comments and give a response where possible. Thanks for coming. Thanks for always watching. You are a wonderful people. You are great people. I really appreciate your work. I really appreciate what you do. You subscribing, you coming and watching, and you helping me to share this message to the whole world and everywhere. It is really amazing and really wonderful. Let's embrace unity. Let's embrace love and care. Let's love one another. Let's do away with corruption. That one goes to the leaders. Let's do away with hating other people. Let's work together, come together, speak the same thing. Because if we want to go far, if we want to go fast, go alone. If we want to go far, let's go as a group. We are the group of the black community, okay? I tell you every day, anything that concerns Africa concerns me and you as black people. And here we are, black people. Let's be able to come together, work together, do things together. And God is going to uplift us and enable us. Our great leaders, to our great leaders existing today, God loves you and you are loved by the people. May you live long. May you live long. Okay? The king, you will remain because you're fighting for your people. Thank you for coming and thank you for always being here. Until next episode, peace be with you.